everyone. Welcome to Reasons to Hope, week 50. I'm Kate Tucker, and it has been my privilege to journey with you throughout this year and experience this exploration of gratitude and the community that we've been able to build around looking for reasons to hope. And some of those people that I've gotten to know along the way, that you've gotten to hear from here on Instagram, have really encouraged me in so many ways. And one of those people who joined us earlier this year for Reasons to Hope is author Sarah Wells. So this week, because she has a brand new book out, we wanted to invite her back to Reasons to Hope, and we're going to talk about her new book. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Sarah in. You can find Sarah's work online, and she's a regular contributor. Sarah, welcome to Reasons to Hope. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
How are you? I'm good. It's so good to see you again.
It's good to see you too. Your background is beautiful. I love your tree.
Thank you. I'm so excited about this time of year. I love decorating. I love the anticipation and Advent. I've been loving what you've been writing about Advent on Root and Vine.
Oh,
So thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Yeah. How are you? How do you celebrate, with your family? What are some holiday traditions?
We have been doing an daily Advent calendar forever since my kids were really little. And so like our activities have definitely evolved now that I have teenagers. We don't cut out snowflakes anymore or, you know, although Lydia told me she did that today at school. So I guess maybe we
Oh,
should have included that.
well, they're so magical. I feel like it's something you can do for your whole entire life and you never have the same one, right?
Right, exactly. Yes. So we do that. We always have an Advent wreath and then light the candles on each Sunday and talk about our theme of the week and that kind of thing together as a family. So those are some, common things that we do together.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so this year you have the very special gift of a brand new book, which I know is a huge thing. So congratulations. It's such a big deal to get it out in the world.
Thank you. It's been a long time coming, but I'm also kind of glad that it waited a little while
Yeah.
because I needed a little space to, be able to be vulnerable and talk confidently about the contents of the book, I would say. So,
Yeah.
yeah, very happy that it's out now, though. Yes.
How is it? Are you able to get out and promote it at all, or how is it different because of the pandemic releasing a book right now?
Right now I am in the beginning processes of scheduling things. Like tonight I'm going to a friend's book club because they read my book as their book club, and I'm super excited to talk about it with them in person and
That's awesome.
safely and all of that. And then lots more virtual things, which I think is kind of nice because I couldn't always fly to Oklahoma to have a book discussion with a group of students or something. So the fact that people are more able and willing to do virtual things actually makes that kind of easier to connect with more people, I think. So it's
So
fun.
cool. So cool. I saw Stacy just commented she got her book. I just ordered mine today, and I have been working my way through the advanced PDF you sent me. So thank you for that. And
Sure.
I have so many questions, but there's something that I saw that really stuck out to me, and I was wanting to ask you about. You said words matter, and you were talking about how words matter and the words we choose matter. And I'd love for you to tell me more about how words matter, what you mean by that.
Well, I think in our day-to-day lives, just the ways that we talk to each other and the things that we say to each other communicate so much. And it can even be tone of the way that we say things. And in the context of my book and my marriage, Brandon and I, my husband and I, have shared so many little like snide comments that have been barbs in the skin. And then there are other things that have just been more like salve for wounds, things that we've said to each other that have endured or helped us to endure much harder seasons, And so we can go either way. We can, injure with our words, or we can bless with our words. And so that's, I think, at the heart of why our words matter. And of course, as a storyteller, I think words matter a whole bunch.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, and you write, I saw in that really beautiful teaser for the book, you have that closing of talking about writing a better love story?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, in a sense, is that what you are doing by taking the first decade of your marriage and sort of putting it into the shape of a
Yes.
story that you are now owning?
Yes, yes. I think so. The idea of writing a better love story, it actually came out of a conversation I had with my mother-in-law in the thick of what was happening as I was writing this book and as we were living the circumstances of writing this book. And she said something like, what love story do you want to tell, like, and it really emboldened me to make choices. Like, I'm not ruled by the circumstances that I'm living. I can choose the pathway that I want for our marriage. And um so the results of that are really this book and the fact that we're still married. So,
Yay.
spoiler alert.
Wow, that's so
Yeah.
beautiful. Well, you have a lovely piece, guest piece on Root and Vine today for Reasons to Hope, and I loved what you were talking about patient love and long suffering love. So, um, unpack that a little bit for us as well in the context of
Yeah.
American Honey.
Yeah, well, we all, those of us who have been married for more than, 30 seconds, pretty much, have these moments where, like I say in the piece today, where I still love you, but I don't really like you that much, and sometimes those seasons can go on for longer than we want.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, there are circumstances where it's appropriate and necessary for a marriage to end. But my circumstances have always been like, oh, I'm just dissatisfied right now, or I'm a little unhappy right now. You're not making me happy right now.
Mm-hmm.
And love, and in the First Chronicles passage, famous, First Chronicles passage, it starts with love is patient. Long, and patience used to be translated long suffering. And so you think about, like, okay, for years sometimes you can feel like you're just loving out of long suffering to get through this season, and remember, what you hoped for in your relationship, and what try to live out the things that you were hoping for in that. But yes, those whispers of love is patient and long suffering love allow you to weather the harder seasons where things are not so great. And
Mm-hmm.
whether it's because of difficult circumstances, or one of you is like off the track a little bit and like riding kind of clumpily along, and we're partnered together and have chosen to walk together. And so
Mm-hmm.
trying to remember that we each have our own struggles during those different seasons, and that we're here to kind of help each other along in those different seasons, turning outward, I guess, in some ways, and remembering to love the person that we said we were going to love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know
How has hope changed for you? If you look back, I mean, I loved reading. I would say I'm about halfway through. I love what you're sharing from the beginning of your life. And I remember, full disclosure, Sarah and I have known each other for a long time. And so
yeah,
I remember when you and Brandon met, and it's like, uh, it's so, it's so cool to think of what wisdom we all gain as we grow older and look back. So I'm curious what you might say to yourself then about what hope is now. How has it changed?
yeah. I think the ways that hope has changed for me, early on, I had such a fairy tale idea of what marriage would be, that once we got married, everything was going to be great. Like, that was the happily ever after. That's all the stories I'd ever heard,
Right,
was
it's our
get,
culture.
yes, you get
Yeah.
married and then you're happy for the rest of your life because you're now married.
Right.
And I think, for me, I got married at 21. And so I was still new to who I was and didn't really know a lot about who I was yet. And have learned so much through both marriage and regular life about who I am now. And I think I would have told my younger self to hope in more than just a relationship to sustain who you are.
Mhm.
And allow God to move throughout your whole life and be able to illuminate the places that he has given to you that make you worthy all on your own. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're worthy all by yourself, not because you just got married to a guy who happens to love you or because your friend likes you and it like celebrates you, but just because you
Mm-hmm.
are worthy of love, and that is enough of a reason to keep on hoping. But I put a lot of hope in relationships, I would say, when I was younger, and wanted fulfillment through marriage and through dating and all of those things, and through my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
and looking back now, I wish I had a little bit more of that foundation to know with security that I was enough just as I was.
I think we all do that. And I think it's partly because we need each other and we need relationships.
Yeah.
We were built for connection. At the same time, I think often in our culture, we aren't necessarily taught initially how to find that connection with God in a personal way and that sense of worth,
Yeah.
like that you're describing for ourselves before we try and join with someone else or, be there for someone else even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it becomes codependence instead of interdependence. And,
Mhm.
in some ways I was codependent in a lot of my earlier relationships of like become a chameleon to whoever I was dating. Oh,
Yeah.
you like grunge? I'm going to like grunge now.
We've all been guilty of that.
Yeah,
But so
right.
thank you for being brave enough to share. That's like, I mean, I think that that's the thing that American Honey is really, it's so compelling because you're just putting it all out there. And so, I would encourage all of you here to pick up a copy. Where can we find it? I know
It's
where I found
available
it.
on Amazon and also on like Bookshop. I know that's like an independent bookseller platform. You can buy signed copies on my website if you want at sarahmariewells.com, and pretty
Awesome.
much anywhere else right now. So yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really, really excited to finish the book. I hope you all pick up a copy. And thank you, Sarah, so much for joining us. What before we say goodbye, what today is giving you reasons to hope?
Today. Well, I have been reading a book called Sacred Earth, Sacred Soul by John Philip Newell. And like, if you follow me on Instagram, I quote it, I feel like every other minute because I love it so much. But what's really sticking with me is the interconnectedness of all things, and just seeing, when we practice I think spiritual practice of noticing, like just noticing things, we can see how the Holy Spirit's moving and how we're all, this interconnectedness has really been, I don't know, foundational for me lately. The other day I was driving and there was this gorgeous cotton candy sunset, but
Mm,
in front of it from my lens, of course, was were all of the trees that were free of their leaves, and the starkness of the branches and like that barrenness of um, winter trees, and how much in winter the light penetrates through all of the things that we would normally hide, I guess, behind,
mhm,
like the leaves normally hide those branches and the bones and skeletons of our lives, but in winter it's all exposed and brought into this like stark reality. And it was just really beautiful, and I was thinking about how that the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness does not overcome it, and how much
mhm.
that John's gospel kind of shined through in that moment for me in a real creation centered kind of way. So,
That's beautiful. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. I almost forgot to ask you, and so I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you. I'm going to check that book out and finish yours. And
it's so
everyone,
good.
we will, I'm excited. We will be back next week with a very special live musical performance at 3 o'clock Eastern. Thank you so much, Sarah. Everyone get American Honey, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.